Now what we're going to do is move into the kitchen and start looking at insulating the ceiling and plasterboarding. So I'll set the camera up, can have a quick look at that while we do that. Because the part that we can do now is where the corridor's going, which I'll show you in a minute. I've already told you before, but I'll just do a recap. I can show you where the corridor's going. So we can board inside that, because if we need to get to it after, it's the landing above. We can get to it from above where the floorboards come up. And the rest of the kitchen, Neil and Charlie have done the electrics in there now. All the smoke alarms, everything else is all set, all the spotlights. And we can do a run of plasterboard down the centre, and they can still get to the edges. So that should be all good. And I've just turned the radio off, so it may be that this is null and void. But we'll see, the radio's heard in the background. So we'll crack on with that now, and we'll show you a bit of footage of what we're doing next. Plasterboard to this point, which is on this double timber that we put in there, and that's where the stud walls are going. But yeah, as all things are, that stops that, and that temporary waste, because you moved this sink over, if you remember, is right in the way. So we'll just have to stop the stud, one of the studs here, and then when we knock through and that gets moved, because if you remember, that mains is being removed and we're putting a new blue pipe in. We've already done it in the floor to outside, so we're putting a new mains in as well to the property. So there we go. We'll crack on with this then, and then we can get a bit of boarding done, the insulation, and then that'll be that done, tidied up then. Try and get this a bit tidier, because at the minute it just looks a bit rubbish, doesn't it, when the customer's still sort of using this. So we're going to try and get this tidied up now the wiring's done. So a bit of an update. The footage that may or may not have been on before this, it's a bit dark in this kitchen because the lighting's rubbish. But I've tried to put some footage on just so it's not just me doing what I'm doing now, talking about what I'm doing, rather than actually showing just doing it as well. But it's difficult in such a 2.2 by 3 metre kitchen. It's tight. So I'm going to spin you around now, give you a quick update and show you what we're going on to next.
We're going to be buying the bloody...
I think Marcus upset with his Makita drywall gun. Anyway, so that's what he's doing now. He's just finishing the plasterboard in there. We're going to finish this piece up here, and that's us done. Now, what we have done, so the sparky can get it down because of the cables, we've wanted to make it a bit cleaner for the customer, so we've put this one and this one up on screws and washers, so that can come down. Likewise, that one that Mick's got to put up there as well. That one will be done with screws and washers as well, because we've got to pull that cable down the wall yet, so... Oh, we could notch that one, couldn't we, Mick? We could notch that, couldn't we?
I could do anything.
Of course you can. But we'll put that on screws and washers anyway, just so we can get to it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my laser up. I've got this this timber ready to go. I've just got to cut the hole for these cables to come through in there. I've just got to cut the hole, for that one to come down once I've got my measurement. And that's what we're moving on to next. Gonna get this wall up. We got some insulation, and it's Mick's birthday today. Still your birthday. I hadn't told anybody yet. I told them yesterday it was your birthday today, but today is your birthday. So happy birthday to Michael. Happy birthday to you. Don't blow me.
That sounded better in your head.
Right then, all we're doing now, I've set my header plate up there, which is and I've paralleled off this wall. Now what I would do normally is I'd normally run a timber, excuse me, all the way through now, and then cut the doorway out to make sure I'm in line. But because I don't want to, I've got a water supply, which if Mick comes round in a minute, he can have a look. But what we've got the water supply right where we don't want it, and the temporary waste, as you can see that I've had to notch it. So rather than trying to get round it, what I've done is I've put 2 pieces in, but I've used the laser to do so. That's got to come out anyway, along with this has got to come out as well. But look, there we go. It's just one of them things, isn't it? So all we're going to do now is I'm going to put these timbers onto the floor. I'm going to put a bit of DPC under it. I don't see there's any need because there's no damp on this floor, and if anything is going to show damp, it's going to be vinyl and it's bone dry. But I'm going to do it anyway because it's what I would do. So I'll just put these down, and then once I've done that, I can set my door frame in and start, or set the gap for my door frame, and then start framing the whole of the room in. What we'll probably have to do, me and Mick have already talked about, is we'll probably have to put this leg upright into the ceiling, maybe put the central one in, and then leave that one until we take this out, and then we'll have to just frame then from that one against there, because if you remember from conversations before, all this is coming out. So I'll get this fixed down now, and we'll go from there. I have already put plugs in the floor, but it's difficult to try and identify that as well. That's got it. Right on the line there. I'll check that with a laser anyway, because it's plug and screws, you have got a little bit of movement, so I'll have to check that with a laser anyway before I carry on. So right then, I'll do exactly the same this side, and then when we're ready to start putting the timbers in, I'll get that one on the wall first, and then we'll come back and have a look at what we go to next. It's 11:50, I think. Yeah, I did the span anyway. So that one is, what's that measure there? What's that? 269. What's that measure? So we've done all that now. We're now going to board one side up to the centre of that. Michael's out there just rasping the edge of the board after cutting it. And what we're going to do is we're going to come an 1800 by 900 board straight the way across to the centre of there, because what you shouldn't do, you shouldn't have a join on your plasterboard above your doorway, because it cracks, and it does crack. If at your house you got a crack there and there, it's because they've gone up there and up there with the join plasterboard. That's why you shouldn't do that. So we're going all the way across, then we're going to cut this out, then we're going to put the remainder of the height, which is about 1600 and something, in there on that face. And then we can't do this one. We can't do up there. We're just going to have to leave it. And then we can't do any more there because we've got to take all this out, which is quite an imminent job now. So we'll crack on with boarding this then, and we'll show you at the end where we are and what we're moving on to next, which is going to be insulation in the ceiling.
In there?
In there, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we are doing next is we'll be insulating all that's up there. And also we're going to do these lights in such a way that you've got the void, but without having a detrimental effect on leaving a massive hole to allow moisture to get in. Right then, let's get this plasterboarded and we'll move on to some insulation. But we've already talked about this, so I'll just go over it very, very quickly again. We've boarded this side temporary. Again, we've done it on screws and washers because it's got to come off because we've got to put the 50mm sound insulation in there. And then we can't do this because we've got to knock through. But this side is done. This is all finished into there, and we can, like I said, we have spanned our doorway because you shouldn't do that. And then this will continue from here, then go all the way through. So you haven't got the joint on the same timber because you shouldn't do that either. But we wanted to try and get this done as much as we can and tidied. So we're out of this kitchen, all the ceilings up. Like I said, we put these on washered screws so we can get to the old wires when we have to decommission things like this. We decommission the old lighting and connect it to the what will be the new spotlights. So that's good. What we're doing now is we're just putting the timbers into these under our straps. Yeah, that'll go like that underneath the strap, and then the insulation will go against there and go against there, and we'll screw into it. Same on that one, same on this one, and same on that one. Then what we've got to do is we've got to drill holes in here and in here to allow ventilation to come flow through into this void, so this isn't a stagnated area or a ventless area, whatever word you want to use. So we'll drill some holes into there, some 25mm into there. Likewise at the top as well, on all the Velox areas. And then we'll start insulating from there, this way. We'll have a look at a couple, how we're going to cut them. And then we'll probably stick it on a time lapse and smash through it, because I think once you've seen us cut one using the old Fez tool thing, and we show you how we're doing the lights, even though there's a video you can watch on the channel anyway, how to do the lights. You won't want to see it anymore. So we'll carry on and we'll do that and see how long this takes us.
These every hole, or something moan about, you don't do them every hole?
No, not every hole. Just probably 3 per bay or something. Drill some holes then, as you can see up there. Each bay, 25mm. So on this side, all down there, up there. All the way across, all the way across. Same up there. And this is a breathable felt as well. So it's vented, comes through there, breathe. That there, we've got the abutment ventilation at the top. On the outside, that's all good. If someone does it different around Veloxes, I'm pretty sure there's not a way that you can vent around a Velox any other way than this. Let me know if there is, I'd appreciate it. But that's how we do it. Inspector seems happy with that. Although I say this one, they have in the past, that's how I've always done it. Because I don't know any other way. Breathable felt, holes in there, so you can get a bit of movement of air within the those spaces. I've done those above the 100mm, same as I've got the spark to do above the 100mm on the cables, so we haven't got to mess about. So now, let's get some of this in. Right, insulation day today. Yeah, what do you reckon to it, Michael? Okay, fair point. Let's get on with it. They're all fixed in there. 3 fixings per bay. Loads. 2-inch 10s.
There's more than 3 fixings in there.
In fact, there's more than 3. Jesus, you filled it. Okay, there's a box of screws in each strap. But that's good, that ain't coming out. So we'll stick our insulation against these now. And that's good. 50mm then goes all over the top. So that's what we've done. Right then, well, Mick just measures up the insulation. Set a bench up. And I'm going to use this. And it's a Fez tool insulation saw. It comes with this sort of heavy tough blade. No, sorry, it doesn't come with this. You have to buy this one. It comes with a rock wool blade and like a roller set. But if you want to look at the sort of full review, if you like, and what's in the box, if you go to this video now, it's on screen, and that'll talk you all through all that. But I'm just going to use this, and what you use is this rail, Fez tool rail, but you use this side of it, and that clips onto there. And you can see it on the camera, but on there it tells you there's a 50mm sort of standoff from the rail to there. So you just measure 50mm in, get your mark, set this 50mm back from your mark, and when you put that on there and run it through, it does it that simple. It really is that easy. So we're going to cut a couple, and then also turn it off and just give you a bit of review as we go. Or I might put a time lapse on. We'll see how we get on. Okay. I'd already done some footage before this, but we're having teething problems. when I say teething problems, I'm getting annoyed because I'm not using my saw properly. I tried to do it freehand, doesn't work, results in it wandering like that, and it's because I didn't put my clamps on it. So I've got my clamps now, or mixed clamps. We've got one up there, pain in the backside to get in because of the angle up there. So we're not doing as much of an angle up there now. We can't do 17 degrees. We are going to do, if this camera focuses again, we are going to do a lesser degree now, about 10 degrees, which means we're not going to be fully against that plate up there, which we just can't get it in. It's that simple. Anyway, so we're on this bay now where the spotlight is, and as you can see, Michael.
If anybody remembers the garden room that I'm doing at home,
Yeah.
and my fascination with silver tape, I'm back on it.
He loves it. Like I said, there's already a video of this, of how we did it, a full video. So click on that. It's on the, don't click on it, but have a look on the channel at the video now on screen. And that goes through exactly how to do this. But in essence, 50 mil, and then there's 50 mil on top of this. It gives you 100 mil void, and the electrician said that's plenty. So we cut it out. We then push that to the back, silver tape it, all on the inside like that, and then the hole goes in the middle there, and then you pull the cable through.
And another 50 mil on top.
And then another 50 mil goes on top of that, as you know, all across the rafters. So you got 100 mil void, which apparently is plenty. So there we go. But it's a faff. I'll carry on cutting these. Mick is going to carry on doing that. I'm going to put some footage on now of how we use it. And I don't know if we're going to get much because my battery just flashed. So there we go. Swollen, isn't it?
We'll have to measure. I did got to measure in here because we're going to measure from that face now to that wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to get a measurement now on that, don't we? So we're going to measure now. We've got to work this out, put in our plan for our lighting after, but we're going to measure 740 mil off the brickwork with a laser on the floor to laser up to that, because we'll earn about 40 mil dub off that wall, so which brings us 700 off the wall then. And we do 700 because it then comes 100 mil past the worktop, so the light is above you when you're at a worktop. Even though it's not here, the worktop's going to be around there, but it just means they're in from the wall exactly the same, because we'll do 740 here as well, in horizontal rather than up the pitch of the roof. And then we'll come centre, which is sort of centre of the Velux, sort of. So we'll put that in there now. The lunk's already poked through it, and off we go. Faff. We're now filling that gap there against the wall, the 50 mil that you normally leave. We're going to ram that in there like that. And I mean, that's going to be covered with dab anyway, but that ain't the point. So a little tiny bit against the blockwork there. We'll put some expansion foam in there, but that just, yeah, why not? So we're going to put a bit of tape over this strap, and then when we put the 50 mil over, that'll be sealed anyway. We've started to fill the void there, in between the double and the single, because that was 400 centres from there to there, so I had to put a double in next to it. So we have started to fill that all the way up, and we'll tape that all over as well, because it's so tight, so small. I don't want to do it too thick and have to hammer it in because it'll just smash. So I've took the blade thickness out as a consequence, right, to hold it in a little bit of tape there. So that's what the lights sort of look like when we've done what we've got to do. So all we do is we cut the square out, we then cut, where are they? We then cut that square in half, like that. We then push that one up to the back, silver foil the back of it, and silver foil all the way around the inside as well. So that does that. And then what we'll do is when we get the expansion foam out, we'll then expansion foam that hole as well. And that's how we do it. Right or wrongly, it seems to be something that the inspector liked when he come to the loft. Yes, it takes time, but it gets over the fact that when I did mine years ago, I was told I had to cut a complete 200 square out and leave it open. Well, what's the point in having insulation in your loft if you're going to do that? Seems stupid. So we've overcome it with this, and we told, because the LED bulbs, and they don't get that hot, that's going to matter. It may be that we leave that little hole. In fact, thinking about it, we could leave that hole company for ventilation. We could do that. We'll have a think. We're coming to the end of the day now. We've done loads of other stuff today. We've had a really good tidy up, and we're going to do this. So we're covered in, this lovely stuff. So we shall continue, and next time we see any footage, whether it's next episode or whether you see in a second, once I stop talking, we'll probably see this all done, other than maybe putting the 50mm on. We might put the 50mm on and show you where we do that. So we've completed the 100mm up to this point now. So what we'll do now is we'll start the 50mm and work from there as far as we can get now. And then when we're ready, we'll take this top bit of insulation down, because as you remember, this is temporary to stop the fumes going into that part that the customer's now using as a bit of a laundrette utility area. So we'll take this down, do that by 100mm, and then we can run the 50mm all the way through and then put that back up again. Marker's out there, sorting the 50mm out. We'll get some 50mm on. We'll show you how we do that. We've got to cut a 50mm or 200mm square out of the 50mm as well. So we'll show you how we do that. I'll set the camera up. And then we'll carry on with that, get some 50mm up today as well, and then start this. Okay then.
Yeah.
It's worth most on the Velux.
Yeah, have you got that?
Yeah.
We need to make that right down the side of the
All we've done there now is we've put that up there, not knowing at what point the 50mm is going to hit in certain parts of the wall plate. Let me come closer. What we've done is marked a line on the ceiling now in blue pen, and then we know where the end of it is here. Let me come back, sorry. We know where it is here. So what we've got now is off the blue line up there and the end of it, we've got a reference now to measure down for these. Right, because we've got to cut a 50mm hole out of these as well. So like I say, rather than trying to get a tape on there and not quite know at what point this is going to touch, that's why we've done it that way. Because we knew as it was then, it was sitting tight against that wall plate, and that's the top of it. So we'll measure down, measure in, and then hopefully we'll match up our 200mm squares, hopefully. Let's try that.
Right, we've measured down what we said from the blue line to that, and there's all the measurements from side to side, up and down, all the rest of it for that one and that one. And now we're going to transfer it onto there.
So we've got 15, let's do that one first, 45, it was 330 down, wasn't it?
Yep.
330 down. So right there, and we were 45, and what was the next one? 45 and 255.
255.
255. And then we are, what's the next one? The one above.
1565 to 1780.
1565 to 1780. We want 330 down again, don't we?
Yep.
330, 530.
That's it.
330, 530. For all the viewers that have mentioned my hair, that's why I go a grade off. People are mentioning my haircut, don't know why, but I don't know. A bit odd.
I can vouch.
Well,
She's had
that's
this.
why.
I can vouch. She's had the same haircut for the last, I don't know how many years. I don't know what you're all going on about.
I'm just getting thinner on top, that's all.
Might be a different colour.
Oh God, yeah, it's definitely a different colour.
Right.
So that's that one, and I'll do the lines in a minute. I'll just join these up there. What's there?
Just marked a parallel. What's there?
What's there to there? And hopefully these will go in. Right, so we'll cut them out and then hopefully they match up with the ceiling ones. Hopefully.
Okay, this blue line here, why we marked that onto the ceiling, sort of having put this up, is because if we'd measured from, because this is a vaulted ceiling, if we'd measured from this blockwork here, if you look, you see how that's an angle? So what we've got is, there's my finger, that's the point that it's touching. This bottom edge is exaggerated. It's like that. So you can't measure from this edge because you're going to be guessing basically. So that's what we've done, and now we're going to try it.
After saying that, this is where it all goes wrong.
So it all goes, yeah.
And they go, oh, that's a crap method.
So, right,
Okay.
I'll get that set up and then I'll step back. And if this doesn't work, we'll cut it. And it's up to you though, innit? Razor sharp.
And our line still.
And what's the other one? Oh yeah.
If anything, there's a bit of a 5mm gap there. But then I think this is a 205. I could cut it if I wanted to.
Oh, you could push that
That's
push that
beautiful.
5mm gap there.
Yeah, we could phone
we
that
know.
because it's going to be covered anyway because it's going to get dabbed. So there we go. We're happy with our method and, well, proof's in the pudding and all that.
To be fair, I didn't think we were that good, but we are. There you go.
Don't say that. Those comments now. Just to say,
Bring it on.
What do we always say, Mick? This isn't the only way to do it. This is just the way we do it.
Nah,
And
it's the only way.
gladly it works.
It's the only way.
Right, all this is now, we're just looking at how we fix these up now, temporary, because remember this is going to be overboard with plasterboard and fixed with 100mm drywall screws. We just get a screw and a washer, minimal possible, and then you can see we've sunk them all in to make sure that when we put them on it doesn't foul the plasterboard. That's why it's sunk in past the face. And all we'll do now is, now these are all done, as Mick can see there, now you probably see that one better, Mick, we've got it as close as we physically can. That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
And then we just go around then, like this. Can you see that from there, Mick? Or like that. Just go all the way around the edges now, just to cover the joint between the two, like that. The light's probably not the best now, 'cause it's near the end of the day, but
No, it's giving it. It's okay.
that's it. Like that. All the way
So
around.
just a pro tip as well, if you're using this tape, is rub it with the tape itself.
Yeah.
Nothing gets it flatter. Takes all the little folds out.
So we'll do that all the way around,
yeah.
on all of them. And that's it. We've left them big on the Veluxes. So we're putting in the insulation on the Velux cheeks, which is number 25 on the Velux cheeks, down to this 50mm. And then we'll cut this 50mm off then to suit the 25mm. And then we'll board them all in. And I think that's about it.
Happy day.
Happy faces all round. Insulation is complete, other than two little tiny pieces of 50mm, and then the taping, silver taping all the joints and all the screws and what have you. So I'll spin you around now, show you the finished article, as good as it's going to look, bit of insulation, and then I'm going to show you then what we're going to do next. Michael's up on the scaffold, got the silver tape, and we have to tape all the joints. We'll tape over all the screw holes. And then, as we've already showed you when we started on that one up there, we tape on the inside of all the light boxes. So we're going to call them, should we call them light boxes, Mick? Let's call them light boxes. Tape all around those. And then we've left these long around the vedoxes because we're going to get 25mm now and sit it on the cheek, run it down to the top of, or the back of that, and then we'll tape that in as well. That's what we're going to do. So Marcus will do that, and then I'll just set my scaffold up in here. This is all done. This part will be left as it is, like that. I shall run round as well with the foam all around the edges and the perimeters, and all this spot. I mean, that'll be dabbed anyway, but yeah, so I should do that. We've got to put these last few cuts in now, and then I'll just cut these wires through. We've moved the wall a little bit, so we've got to move the wires over, which is a massive deal because this area, let me come back, this area here now, just to recap for you, unless you're new to the channel, you wouldn't have known this at all anyway. This wall will be going all the way through here, from that doorway to the inside of this doorway, and this will be a walk-through only into there, which is going to be the utility. And kitchen access will be there, where that window is there. That'll be coming out. So I'll get these last few in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the stud in such a way that I can do the stud work on the top triangle first, if you like, supported off the roof structure and off the timber header plate I've already put in. And then I'll hang that, and then I'll put the flat roof in. And then when the floor is underfloor heated and screeded, I can then finish putting the uprights in for the stud. It all seems a bit backwards again, but it just means we can get a lot more done while we're waiting, because we're just waiting for people. People are busy, or people that we use are busy because they're good. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. This is what we have to do. So let's get going on that then. And hopefully we'll have a good day today. Right, all we're doing now is going to fix the timbers on the wall for the stud, and then I'm going to fix a block onto that then, so I can put the what will be the top plate of my stud if I was doing it the opposite way around. The reason I'm doing that is, I've already explained, is we're just going to crack on. Just means we can. The underfloor heating's not going to be done for about a week and a half, so we can get this done, get the flat roof done, another job finished, isn't it? Get it insulated. And that's something else we can do prior to all this kicking off and knock through to inside. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. Decided is we're going to go for a high ceiling here rather than a 2.1, which is just under 7 foot. We wanted it a bit higher because we think it look a bit dark and dismal in this part. So what we're going to do now is we've gone to 2.3, so we've gone off our finished floor height up to here, which is 2.3. I've cut a splay cut on there, which is worked out by knowing that that is 70.5 degrees slope ceiling. And then you obviously got your 90 degrees at the bottom of your triangle, and the remainder for 180 degrees total for a triangle is 71.5, so that's what that is there. So all we've done is, I've done that. I'll just put that temperature screw in there just to get a gauge. I'll show you exactly what I've done wrong in a minute. Because I know all the people that comment love to see people do things wrong, don't they? And they love to comment how good they are. Oh no, sorry, I'm being sounding bitter now, not. But anyone that says I don't do anything wrong is lying to you. Let me just put this in here temporary, and I'll come back to this in a second. let you know what I've done. That's just temporary, so just take this out. Right then, okay. So we're trying to put that timber on the wall there in the position to enable this to be a flat ceiling. However, I took off the thickness of the timber, not thinking about the fact that it's going to be the same height, because I want the top of the timber to be our ceiling height. So, hence there's a bit of a gap there now. So what I'm going to do is, and again, I don't mind showing people if I've done it wrong, because I have. What I'm going to do now is, and I might have to get the scaffold. We're putting some pilot holes in now. Just look, rushing, I'll put them in the wrong place as well. Okay, so I'm going to fix that in there first. This is this timber now, in there. And so that there is because I did it too low anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, it's not a massive deal, even though everyone will think it is. Right then, I'll get that timber in there ready. Bear in mind, this is all going to have upright studs in anyway. This is just for me to allow to do what I want to do with the flat seam, that's all, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I'll just check the level on this now, and that's fixed. That's saying, there's a bit of a bow in that, hang on, let me just swing it. Okay, that's going to come up a touch. Oops. Level this timber up now. The face of that one. Can you see there with the level of the
Yeah,
way?
it's fine.
Right, I'll just put that in halfway just to try and check the level again. That'll support that. And just check this level again now. Right, that's beautiful.
Beautiful!
So I'll put that there and finish that off. Push that off so it's level. Like I said, this is just sort of a temporary thing to allow me to build a wall, which I'll show you in a minute. And that screws me. I'll put another one in there, another one in the top, and that's solid, just to allow that to give me this height. And then what we'll do next is I'll show you what I'm going to do with the flat ceiling. This is why I'm doing this. Okay, got that up now. Yeah, I cut these. What you might have seen is that one. What I did was stupidly, knowing full well what had happened, because there's a splay cut on the top there, I've nailed like that and it's pushed that over, followed the slope, and then it's bellied that slope. So I've knocked it back in, and it's back perfect again there. You know it's going to happen, but you do it anyway. Yeah, there we go, that's what I did. So I've done that, and then what I did was, I've gone through this side, and I've put 2 nails in every upright then, so one in the bottom header and one in the upright, all the way across. And then I've just drilled these wires in the centre of the wall. Obviously that's going to be in the ceiling void. So when we get the foam gun out, we shall foam all those holes in now, all the ones there. and that'll stop any, along with all the perimeter around the wall there as well. We'll foam those in, and that should be good. And Mickey's over there, still doing the taping, but we had a bit of an issue where they're just the moisture on the ceiling, it just couldn't do it, so we had to stop for a bit, do something else, and then back on it. Now the sun is warming the place up lovely. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm now going to fix a timber on this wall. Come back, I'm now going to fix a timber on this wall, level with this one, and then we'll start filling this in with timber. That's the next job. Right then, well, firstly, an apology. Cutting to me now at home 3 weeks later, whilst editing this video, I've realised that I haven't got the typical end to our videos, which is us saying thank you and blah blah blah. So I'm having to do it now at home whilst editing and getting ready for the video. So what I will say now is thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and we will see you on the next one.